You're listening to Entrepreneur's Enigma, a podcast about the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey. Every week, your host Seth Goldstein interviews entrepreneurs from all walks of life about their entrepreneurial journeys. From store owners to Fortune 500 CEOs, we all have stories to tell. So sit back and join us for the next 20 or so minutes while we explore the entrepreneurial world.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneur's Enigma podcast. I'm Seth, as always, with Entrepreneur's Enigma, as you know, because you're listening to the show. I should have said Podcast Mastery and Goldstein Media. Today I have Itai Sadan.
Yep.
I had to ask how to say his first name, but I forgot to ask him about his last name. So as I'm saying that, I'm like, oh, please say I say it right.
Yeah, you got it right. You got it
nice. Right. Itai is the CEO, co-founder, and chief bottle washer over at Duda.co. It is in the forefront of, how would you describe it? It's a website builder, but it's more than that.
Builder, for digital marketing agencies and SaaS platforms.
It's pretty wild.
Who are building websites at scale.
Websites, that's it. It's a website platform for people who are building websites at scale. Right. And the best part is it actually scales. And it's mobile response. I was reading the background a little bit, and when you started, you were saying in one of the previous interviews I read that it was because in 2008 nothing was mobile responsive.
Yeah, for those of us who were around back then, and if you remember the kind of pinching and zooming of websites,
happens.
It still happens until today. It's crazy.
Why? Now you have AI. You can throw the damn thing in the cloud and say, make this mobile responsive. There's no excuse not to have a mobile responsive site.
Yeah.
If anything, go the other direction and have the site be small on desktop.
Mm-hmm.
And now you shouldn't do that. But, I'm saying if you're going to do it one way, everyone's on the phone.
Yeah. So back then me and my co-founder Amir, which I know since high school. We went to
wow.
Yeah.
Real fast. And you started in a garage in Mountain View.
That's correct.
It's like the stereotypical startup story.
Yeah.
I was like, are you serious? That's hilarious.
Yeah. I was there for 3 months until it kind of became awkward to hire employees and tell them, come spend some time in my garage.
Yeah, but in Silicon Valley, I feel like that's kind of expected.
Yeah.
Of sorts. So that's funny. So go on, you were saying?
Yeah, so we kind of came up with this idea. We noticed that many of the websites back in the day it was a very bad experience, even on the newest iPhone or Android phone that came out. So we came up with a really simple solution that just give us your URL of your website, click submit. We do all the magic behind the scenes and turn it into a mobile-friendly experience. So basically creating your M.dot site. Back then, if you remember.
Oh, yeah, M.dot. I remember. Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, the M.dot. When you had to go to, it looks like you're on desktop. But you're on mobile. Go over here. So, yeah.
But it had this really big wow effect because you put in something, it's very simple. You just click submit and it does this magic behind the scenes and you get a result right away, which kind of very similar to using, ChatGPT or Claude today, right? You just write a prompt and you click submit and the magic happens. So that moment of magic to get something from, without doing much, we had it back then, and I think it's a really important part of any product.
I love it. And so, did you come out of college and just to start this, or did you work for the man or the woman or the person?
I worked for multiple companies outside of college. So I studied computer science and mathematics, very similar to my co-founder. We actually we studied in the same university. And
wait, so he followed you from high school to Ben Gurion?
We knew each other in high school, but we weren't really good friends. We were very separate
cliques.
Yes, separate cliques. But so eventually, we actually became really good friends in college. So it was
That's
just by
great.
chance that we registered for the same school. And then eventually, when after university, each one of us went our separate ways. I went to a bigger company, public company, and then from there went to SAP, even a bigger company. And
You
I
don't get
think,
much bigger than SAP, which is
yeah.
actually Newtown Square down the street from me.
Oh, yeah, that's the American headquarters. So I was in
American
the
headquarters. But aren't they Swedish or Swiss?
German.
German. One of them. They're
Yeah,
European.
yeah. Anyway, I worked for the Palo Alto office of SAP, and I think part of the experience working for a big company
Yeah.
is you kind of feel on one like right hand doesn't always know what left hand is doing,
Most of the time.
and
Yeah.
you spend a lot of time also with customers that it's kind of big corporations are in the same space, and we were yearning to maybe work with the small business, right? That mom and
Love it.
pop
The
store
scrappy
that,
ones. Yeah.
if you're creating a product that they're going to use, they're going to put their hand in their wallet and spend money if you actually are providing value to them, right? Decisions can be made almost on the spot. So kind of really shifting from enterprise, we wanted to do work with small businesses.
Well, that's a big jump from SAP to
Yeah.
then kind of
Yeah.
so then you left SAP and that's when you went to Duda?
Yeah. So kind of
Ooh,
leaving SAP. So one of
culture
the,
shock. Whew.
yeah. So we worked on Duda as a kind of background project like
Yeah.
everybody in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not even very quiet about it. And most companies are like, who cares?
Yeah. You have to do it the right way.
The right way, yeah.
But eventually, it took us time. It was kind of 2009. Nobody wanted, this was after, the financial crisis. Nobody was investing. It was really hard to get people to believe in this idea. But eventually, AT&T heard about what we were building. So even though we were targeting small business,
Wow.
AT&T kind of Interactive, who owned YP.com back in the day,
Yeah.
they said, we need to put our hands on this. We need to have this for our customers who want to go mobile.
What a get, dude.
Yeah. And a funny story around this was, so as I mentioned, we were still working at SAP. This was a side project for us. And suddenly
Yeah.
AT&T calls you and says, we want your product.
And you're like, I guess we're gonna go out on our own now.
So at some point, like really it was a product manager there who was pushing this forward. And I guess, when we were getting into the contracting phase, his procurement or vendor management or whatever you have in these big companies reaches out to him and says, listen, I went into Itai's LinkedIn and I saw that he's actually working for SAP. Do you know who you're doing a deal with? So that project manager in AT&T said, well, if these guys built this product while working at SAP, I'm definitely doing a deal with them. And
Yeah,
actually,
it shows a resourcefulness, if anything.
and actually that was the deal that, let's say, got us on the map. Right, once you land an AT&T, suddenly investors are interested.
Yeah.
You raise money. We left SAP, probably, at that time as well.
Yeah.
And started kind of hiring the team and building the product.
So now, how big is Duda as a company? I mean, you're multinational, right? Because you're in
Yeah,
Israel,
yeah.
you're everywhere.
So we're about 180 people
Oh,
worldwide.
you're still scrappy. Yeah, I like
180
that.
people is scrappy, okay. But
Well, I mean, you look at these other companies, like Automatic is, I think, like
uh,
they're like 400 or 500, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 180 is that's not scrappy, but
Yeah.
but for a name brand,
yeah.
it's pretty scrappy actually.
Yeah, I still feel like we're, startup mentality.
I love that. We're gonna take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
Obviously, we're in the high tens of millions of dollars in revenue.
Love that.
Very profitable at this stage. So
Yeah.
it's a good and
That's fun,
thriving
dude.
business, and we're in an exciting time right now.
Yeah, and I like how when like I was putting your one of your associates was nice enough to give me an account on Duda to play with. What I liked is that you're using AI, but you're not hitting people over the head with it with a sledgehammer. You're like, AI is over here, or at least last time I looked at it, AI is over here. Use it to help you build the site. But if you just want to tinker around yourself, it's not going to inject itself and say, use me instead of using your own brain. I really like the kind of the friendliness of the interface. It's very well done.
Yeah, it's just another interface, and I think that's the powerful thing. I think when you're just dealing with a prompt interface, it's really great to get you 60, 70, maybe
Mm-hmm.
80% there, and it's amazing. But sometimes you just want to change the color of a button from blue to pink, and it's
And you
easier to
don't want to
hover
waste your
over
tokens on
this.
that either.
What is that?
And you don't want to waste your tokens on changing the
Yeah,
color from blue to pink. It's like,
you don't want to beat yourself with a bat like trying to change a color of a button. So I think there's sometimes WYSIWYG and having an editor and hovering over and doing a
mm,
change is much faster, much easier, and as you said, doesn't cost you anything.
yeah.
Versus so the combination of both kind of being able to prompt things and the I think the hover over and the ability to have a full editor that whatever you create with AI, you can actually modify, customize. I think that's like a
Without a
really strong.
paragraph explaining how to go from blue to pink.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind
That's
of
the
I think what
worst.
gets you to the 100% complete project.
I love it, man. I love it. And so you've literally done the corporate. I mean, you can't get much more corporate than SAP. And then now you're doing, well, not so scrappy, but you're doing the entrepreneurial journey. I mean, you're a co-founder and CEO of Duda. What is the best thing about being an entrepreneur now in the game?
Yeah. I think the being an entrepreneur, I think it's always challenging, always interesting. It's obviously a roller coaster. You have the downs, you have the
Oh
ups.
God,
We can definitely talk about it. We've been
yeah.
everywhere around that journey. But you all the time learn throughout.
Hmm.
It's a different thing to launch a company. It's different skills and different experiences to reach your first million in
Hmm.
revenue, right? Figuring out what to build, what you're building for, who's the customer, getting to 10 million. You have to have product fit at that stage, right?
It's
You
an
have to,
accomplishment.
it's,
Because you got to think about it, that's 10 million.
yeah.
That's good. Reaching a million 10 times.
Yeah. And then kind of being on the path that we are to 100 million, right? This is
Yeah.
scale. This is, you have suddenly a lot of employees. It's not just talking in a room with three more people and
Hmm.
everybody knowing what you mean. It's now people all around the world, and you need to make sure that they're aligned, that they understand the vision and the mission, and that we're
Hmm.
all kind of executing in lockstep. So,
I love it,
yeah,
man.
it's all along it's like the best MBA that you could have, right?
Oh my God, yeah. Learn by trial by fire, literally. Now what keeps you up at night? I mean, I guess we can talk about this. What kept you up at night at the very beginning of Duda, side hustle time, and then what keeps you up at night now?
Yeah. I think earlier in the days, it was obviously you're not well financed or not financed at all.
You're
It's
not. Well,
just,
you weren't financed at all. No one was gonna go near you until AT&T. It seemed
yeah.
like.
So it's just survival. Like it's how do I make it to the next day? How do I make payroll?
Yeah.
And I think that's you know, just kind of not knowing how, next week will look like.
Hmm.
That's probably, that's some of the toughest times, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you've hired a few people and you need to make payroll. I
Hmm.
remember those days. It's definitely not easy. I think the concerns later on, they are more, once you're kind of more established, and especially
Yeah.
when, it's kind of the Maslow pyramid. If you know that I'm gonna be able to make payroll, that's not gonna be
That's not the issue, but there's
but
other
that's not.
things now.
But how
Yeah.
do we grow, right? It's like, yeah, the number one, two, and three things that I think about is growth, growth, and growth. Like, how do I
Hmm.
continue to grow from here?
Because you don't
And
want to be stagnant. I mean, it's no fun being stagnant at that one level and being like, now what?
yeah,
Growth is fun. But doing it smartly is even more important.
And there's times, like now where, AI comes and mixes everything around and there's new solutions out there like, Lovable or Replete or Bolt, and you kind of need.
Lovable's fun, but that's actually where it comes in. That's where when I say I appreciate that I can change the gosh darn color without having it. Lovable, you have to write a paragraph to change the color.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Lovable. It's a great product. It's just, let me just change the damn color, please.
Yeah. So, this is where you need to figure out, like, okay, what's our differentiation? And it's like, it's constantly, the world's evolving, the market's evolving. How do I make sure that I continue to deliver value to my customers, that I'm differentiated from other products, and it's very clear to the customers that I'm targeting why they need to stay with me and continue to build more sites on Duda.
I love it, man. I love it. And then, so what's the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
Probably for different entrepreneurs, definitely it's going to be different answers. I think I'm kind of very level-headed, good times, bad times,
Very much like the dude.
Yeah, exactly. I think, we abide, we move on.
You abide? Yeah.
Exactly.
We just kind of roll with the punches.
We roll with the punches, we figure it out, and we move on. And things that maybe were big concerns today, probably you'd ask me like 2 weeks from now, I won't even remember them. Right. So
well, that's good if you can like put that barrier up and say, like, all right, that was a headache 2 weeks ago. We're past it. Let's keep going. Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is a problem. This is a challenge. Let's hunker down, figure it out, and move on.
That's awesome. What is your favorite quote from the Big Lebowski? But other than the dude abides, because that's too easy.
So many.
It's so rich, full of quotes.
From the rug, it tied the room together.
Leave Kenny alone. Wasn't it Kenny?
I'm not sure about that one.
No, the skinny guy.
Yeah.
And I always told John Goodman's character, leave Kenny alone.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen a movie. I have it over there. I should watch it. I used to watch it all the time. Such a good stoner movie.
But
you live in Boulder, too, so it's even more perfect.
But there's a lot of learnings from that movie. It's
very wise.
It's about teamwork. It's about, as you said, rolling with the punches. You don't always agree. You can agree to disagree, but they really care for each other, and they show up for each other.
I love it. It's so great.
Yeah. And by the way, you meant Donnie before.
Donnie.
I was kind of
Donnie.
Donnie.
Like I said, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Fuck up, Donnie.
Yeah, exactly. So, best place for people to go check you out is at Duda, not dude, Duda, with an A.co.
Yes.
And I think there's a free trial on there to play around, kick the tires and all that stuff. So
14-day free trial.
Love that. It's so much fun. Again, I'm praising you for this. I like how you have AI, but you're not whacking them over a head with an anvil. It's very tastefully done, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. And adding more capabilities all the time.
All right, Itai, thank you for being on, and we'll see everyone next week.
That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneur's Enigma, please consider giving us a review in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps us reach new listeners. If you like Entrepreneur's Enigma, consider the other shows on the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcast.net.